Hello, I'm Thomas Carruthers, and today is our penultimate episode in our Fincher-thon, into 2014's Gone Girl.
Nick Dunne, you're probably the most hated man in America right now. Did you kill your wife, Nick?
Everyone told us and told us marriage is hard work. Not for me and Nick.
As you all know, my wife, Amy Dunne, disappeared 3 days ago. I had nothing to do with the disappearance of my wife. I have nothing to hide.
Has Amy got friends we can talk to?
No, not really.
You don't know if she has friends, you don't know what she does all day, and you don't know your wife's blood type.
Just being a good guy, so everybody can see him being a good guy.
Well, you really don't like him, do you?
All I'm trying to do is be nice to the people who are volunteering to help find Amy.
I will practice believing my husband loves me, but I could be wrong.
You ever see that guy in the glasses before?
Amy's the kind of girl who attracts admirers.
Whoever took her is bound to bring her back.
This was his last film before 2020's Mank. 6 years, the longest break he had between films. He was busy after this point. He was developing Mindhunter and directing a lot of episodes of that. And he has now commented that he wants to make more movies because he feels like he hasn't made enough. And I completely agree, David. But before this long break, we had Gone Girl.
I'm hoping you can tell me what this means.
Want to solve Amy's treasure hunt?
You seen this girl around here?
Yeah, I remember her.
I know you. I saw you at the volunteer center.
I wanted to help.
What'd she want?
She wanted a gun.
We are all scared, but we are all here now.
I feel like something to be jettisoned if necessary. I feel like I could disappear.
The hallmark of a sociopath is a lack of empathy.
Amy lost a lot of blood in there, and then somebody mopped it up.
Why do they mop up the blood if they're trying to stage a crime scene?
Whatever they found, I think it's safe to assume that it's very bad.
I'd finally realized I am frightened of my own husband.
I would show you, as if you're doing a deposition, what to say, what not to say.
A trained monkey?
A trained monkey who doesn't get lethal injection.
She's going to eat you alive.
You assaulted her?
It's not good enough for you?
I hit her?
It's not even close.
Absolutely not. I never touched her.
We now believe Nick is involved in the disappearance of our daughter.
Without a body, without a murder weapon, their only hope is a confession.
Don't know anything yet? You need to tell me.
Just a barnstorming thriller. Critically beloved for the most part. Audiences loved it. For a 2.5-hour R-rated movie, it was a massive success. And
How was your marriage, Nick?
Are you asking me if I killed my wife?
Man of my dreams. This man of mine may kill me.
What about my son? Nick!
This man may kill me. In her own words,
This man may truly
kill me.
You ever hear the expression, simplest answer is often the correct one?
Actually, I've never found that to be true.
to talk about it, we're joined by two of our favourite return guests in alphabetical order. Becky Muggeridge, how are you today?
Hello, I'm good, thank you.
Becky, before we move on to the other one, what's your relationship with Gone Girl?
I have no idea when I first watched it, but it might have been 2014. I don't know, but it's sometime. But it's just been a really good film ever since. Like, I watched it, and when I rewatched it recently for this podcast, I realised that actually it's probably one of my top 20 films. And there's a reasoning for this. My top 10 is kind of films that I like to watch as well as I think are good films. I think I said this about Shutter Island. Like, I moved it off my top 10 because it's not like enjoyable to watch. It's just good. So it's more of like a top 20 rather than the top 10. And I would class the same thing.
I think it's great and very enjoyable and very watchable. Well,
it's good. It's just like so disturbing that you come out of it and you're just like, ugh.
Yeah, but also if you're flicking channels, you're like, oh god.
Oh, I'd definitely watch it, yeah.
Go on then. God. And it just moves. Doesn't matter how, like, it's one of those, it just goes. It just doesn't stop. What's
It goes
the
very
change?
quickly.
Yeah, what's the change? I've got like lots of little pernickety things, but I don't know if there's anything I'd lift for a 2.5 hour film. And she's doing some great physical comedy to talk about our resident Susie Dent today. Our bookworm is one of our other favourite guests, Katrina Unitt. How are you today, Katrina?
I was going to do a funny bit like, oh, sorry, you just caught me in the middle of a reading. But you took too long, so I'm just like, right, I'm just going to put the book away.
Put the book down. Katrina, what's your relationship with Gone Girl?
Oh, I remember exactly the first time I watched it with my grandparents and my brother on my nan and granddad's sofa. And I just was like, wow, what an amazing film. I was like, oh, really in my peak raging feminist era. I mean, it's all gone up and it hasn't really peaked gone back down again. But yeah, and then my mum bought me the 3 Gillian Flynn novels, this, Sharp Objects, and then I can't remember what the other one was called. Sharp Objects.
Sharp Objects, Dark Places, and
Dark Places, that's it.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Coronavirus.
Did you read? No, this is fine. We're a year ahead. The coronavirus isn't a thing anymore. Mind you, this may very well be like when me, Will, and Alice recorded the Paddington 2 episode prior. And then I recently re-listened to it, and me and Alice are talking about how excited we are to watch Imelda Staunton live. That didn't work out. And I'm sure if I listened back to some others, there'd be some other miserable predictions. Katrina, you've read the book. Did you read it afterwards?
Yeah, I did. I wish I'd read it before.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still good. I think the whole deceit would have been a lot better to read as a book. I think it would have been better to go in knowing nothing, if that makes sense. But then also it's like, oh, but then the film would have been spoiled. So like, there's no way to do it. There's no way. Yeah, there's no way I could have done it.
Well, this is the thing.
Is it set out in the same way of having like
his
perspective and then sudden switch?
His perspective. Her but instead of like, you actually get her diary pages. So like the fake diary, you get his perspective, the diary, and then there's I think it's the same where
I'm so much happier now I'm dead.
Yes, but I think it comes at the same part where he opens the shed. He opens the shed and then it cuts straight to her like, I'm happy I'm dead. Cool girl monologue. It cuts to that.
Yeah, Gillian Flynn adapted her own script. She's made a bit of a working now out of screenwriting. She wrote the wonderful Widows film from a couple of years back. Loved Widows, very underrated. And I believe, by all accounts, it's a pretty faithful adaptation, Katrina.
Yeah, I think because the film. So okay, the way I would say this is there are parts in the book where I'm like, the film did it better actually. The film there are parts where it made her like cleverer in a way. So I don't know if we'll talk about this later, but the scene where she has the IV in her arm and she's drawing her own blood.
Yeah.
To then just spread all over the kitchen.
Boringly reading a book. And that's my favourite book.
Yeah. Like, well, it's actually more graphic in the book because she doesn't do that. In the book, she cuts herself with a box cutter and just allows herself to bleed out.
Right. I guess that's good for the corpse.
I actually prefer the way the film does it, because I think it really taps in on just how intelligent Amy is. I think it really taps into this woman is a psychopath. She is like very intelligent, a psychopath, sociopath. She's ridiculously intelligent. She will always be 10 steps ahead of you no matter what you do. Which is why everything. Yeah, which is why then there's also a few differences with Nick and how he handles the you know, like the press conferences, like the later ones when they know that Amy has done this on purpose. So when he's a bit I really liked from the film, it isn't in the book, is when he touches his lips, when he's like talking about how much he loves her.
Because that's
and
like
he touches her. But it doesn't happen in that. He does wear like the watch she bought and the things, but he doesn't. To me, I was like, that works really well.
You hate that watch? No, I love this watch. I just think it's a cat and mouse game between the smartest person you could ever imagine and some idiot who really doesn't know what he's got himself in for. And I adore Rosamond Pike in this film. We'll get to Oscar travesty, but I mean, Jesus Christ, what are we doing here? I really enjoyed Affleck on this rewatch. It's not that I haven't before, but I really enjoyed him. And he's just cast so perfectly and so not necessarily dumb, but not smart. And, you know, I love that he doesn't become smart, that it's not this big thing where he figures it all out and then he finally gets the one up on Amy. Like there's the shower scene and then he reveals, well, no, I put a wire in the shower head and then Rhonda's waiting or whatever with the gun and all the cops are there. I love that Amy wins. I adore it.
She really wins in the book.
Yes.
Really wins in the book.
What distinction?
She impregnates herself using his frozen sperm.
Well, she does that in this.
But like the way it is in the book is like so much more like there's so much more time passage. Like there really is like a long time passage between where he's like, oh, maybe I can get out of this, and then she's like, no. I don't know. I think the way she talks is a lot cleverer in the book, but then again, it's a longer format. You can really get into it more. But yeah, I hate to love Amy. I think she's a brilliant character. I think she's
excellent.
She's not a good person. Oh, no way.
Well, no, she's Alexa, isn't she? She's Alexa. She's a brutal murderer, but you just go on Alexa.
You just said she's Alexa. Alexa.
I would gladly pay for a Rosamond Pike version of Alexa. Amy. But she's Lecter, you know, through and through. She's a fucking psychopathic killer, but go on.
Yeah, well, in the film as well, I'm pretty sure I just was checking up there. Pretty sure she gets pregnant from sperm he had in a fertility clinic.
Yeah.
Whereas in the book, it is literally just frozen sperm from the back of the freezer.
Oh.
Like
what,
she's
wriggled
kept
out. Oh right.
Yeah, that she kept herself.
Okay, I guess that's a bit more graphic.
Yeah, so the book is a lot more like she gets shit done because she is desperate. Whereas in the film, it's a lot more she's calculated, she's clever. She's all those things in the book, but she's a lot more like aggressive about how she gets it done.
Let's get into the body of the episode. Let's do YouTube comments. Through no fault of my own, I stopped taking this trailer seriously when Barney Stinson appeared. This is a thing I've recently come to find. There's a lot more divided opinion about Neil Patrick Harris than I ever knew there was.
Really?
Yeah. Some people really don't like him in this film.
Oh, I thought he was really good, Stacey.
Yeah, I think he's very good, and like I think it's just because people are used to him as Barney. And used to him in How I Met Your Mother, and that's his kind of, and he's also, because he's quite openly gay, like he definitely kind of comes across as camp. So then for him to be in a very like straight kind of manipulative male kind of role, like it's very different from him as a real person. But I think that shows off his acting.
Yeah, I think there's certain moments that didn't work for me. And he's like, oh yeah, octopus and Scrabble. It's like, come on.
When reading the book,
Who are you imagining?
When I read a book after I've seen a film, I'm really good at getting rid of most interpretations of the characters and replacing them with my own. So yeah, he's not exactly how I would picture Desi if I just read the book and I'd never seen the film. That doesn't mean I don't think he did a good job because of everything else. It's just everyone else is so perfectly cast that I can understand why they could see him as that place. I think Rosamond Pike, I think Ben Affleck is the absolute perfect Nick. Really is the most perfect Nick, especially when reading the book. I can so see the vision for why they chose him, especially now all those images have been coming out from the paparazzi, where he's just like a shell of a man picking up Dunkin' Donuts that's been delivered to his house. Oh, he's perfect.
Yeah, but also he's a shell of a man that's got, I'm fingers crossed, him and Ana de Armas are still together in 2020. They're my new favourite celebrity couple because I love Ana de Armas.
That's so weird. It's so weird. But yeah, no, I think Neil Patrick Harris was good in this film. Maybe I would have picked someone more like, I guess it works that he's not necessarily creepy looking. Because really Desi.
I think you could have done with someone who's more like
threatening,
manipulative, creepy in like his acting.
Yeah, so the deceit would have been a bit more like, really he's just as manipulated and as he's the victim in that situation the entire time.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? I think that's obviously supposed to be the reveal, is that Amy maybe thinks, okay, this could work, and then she realizes, oh no, I'm in a cage here too, I need to get out. But I never really get a threat. I never think that Amy's, he's going to get the best of her in any way.
You don't think that in the book either. In the book, though, you do meet his mother. You have I'm pretty sure it's just flashbacks though, but you do meet his mother, who's like Amy as well. Like Amy is like a young version of his mother, so it's very much like a very psycho kind of like.
Oedipal. Anne Hathaway brought me here after she categorized the movie as a romantic comedy.
Oh, Anne Hathaway now goes by Annie Hathaway, by the way.
Does she?
Oh yes, I heard.
Yeah, but that's getting off topic. Anyway, definitely not a rom-com.
Yeah,
it's not a rom-com, but it's hilarious.
Oh, it does have lots of moments of comedy in it, and but it's not romance.
It's dark comedy, not like rom-com comedy.
It's not a romance, I would not say.
But also,
no,
it is a rom-com for a good half an hour, and it knows exactly what it's doing. Their initial meeting scenes. There was a recent conversation I had with people, and they said that they turned it off after half an hour because they thought that it was really bad acting in all of the flashbacks. And I said, you dum-dums. And I said, what are you talking about? I can't tell you why you're stupid, but go back and just watch it. And I don't think it is bad acting. I think it's very intentionally heightened.
Well, it's supposed to be like, are those scenes essentially like recreations of the diary, which is slightly twisting the truth, or are they the actual truth?
Oh no, they're the diary.
And that's what I like.
Yeah, in the
I mean, it's true aspects.
I do like the book in that you do get a lot more of like an insight into their like how it started. So like they met at a party and like he's the only person that interested her there, and then they didn't see each other. He didn't call her back, and they didn't see each other for like.
And that's when she snapped.
No, they didn't see each other for like 6 months, and then he saw her again, and he said that he'd lost her number. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you get more of an insight into their like. You can so tell how fake it is, especially on the second time watching. How she literally just changes herself to fit what he thought she liked, which I suppose the whole cool girl monologue is about. How he wanted cool girl, I was cool girl.
And I won't say I didn't like it. Nick teased out of me things that I didn't even. Just an incredible monologue, which we will certainly, I've dropped my pen, certainly get to. Best 10-minute stretch. I think I've got pretty solid nominations, and we'll see if I've missed anything. The investigation when Rhonda, when Boney comes and starts putting her post-its everywhere. And I also love something, again, I noticed, again, it contains multitudes. I keep noticing little things. And I love that Rhonda's does all of her post-it stuffs. And obviously Amy has all of her post-it stuffs. And if you don't know that Amy wins, then you think this film is building up to Boney's going to figure it all out and she's going to stop her. And it's going to be like, oh, these, you know, she can win over Nick, but she can't beat this brilliant detective. You know, you think,
yeah,
setting up for, but no, she gives up as well.
Well, she knows. She does know.
Oh, they all know. I love that scene at the end where they all meet in that hotel bar. And they all, one by one, they laugh it off in that scene. And then in one of my other best single minutes, we have just a brutal realism of what happens next. I love the night vigil, the candlelight vigil with Andy. I love Amy's parents in this film. I was reading they're fleshed out a lot more in the book, aren't they, Katrina?
Yeah, you see them like, so they set up like an entire search party to go to the abandoned mall to find the guy who sold her the gun. And you really see her dad. You can really see him go from trusting Nick to like, okay, yeah, I think you murdered my daughter. Like, you can really see that progression, and you really get to know more about their characters as well, and about how, you know, they had like 8 miscarriages before having Amy, and there's a bit where she goes, I would have been Hope number 8, because they named every single one of them Hope. I can't remember if that's in the film, but like,
no.
Yeah, they have.
One
They
of
had
my
8
issues was they didn't pad out the parents enough, because like you see it a lot at the beginning, and then about halfway through they almost just drop off completely, and you barely see them, and then she comes back and still they're not there, and you're sort of like, I get that obviously it's mostly around Nick and her, but
they like financed all of their like New York life basically, and one of the reasons that Nick and Amy move back home is because they're on their arse. Their parents are on their arse, and so they're
this
like.
was something I wrote down was like the fact that by doing all of this, like essentially publicity stunt, would have raised awareness of the book and therefore probably boosted sales and got them.
Yeah,
money.
I think that's something that. Oh, sorry, I just took my slipper off. I'm pretty sure that's something. They do talk about that in the book and how it's really profitable for them. So they go back
and it's kind of another reason that she could have done it.
I say famous. It's famous amongst people who mention Gone Girl in front of me. My Blu-ray comes with an amazing Amy book, and it's a proper full book. It's like, it's not a fake little paper thing. It's a proper book, and it's called Tattletale, and it's all about Amy learning the importance of telling the truth. Wink, wink. And she gets away with it in this as well. It's very good.
Yeah, there's you also get to know more about Nick's dad in the book.
Yes, I believe this is a chief difference. And I think, if anything,
so interesting.
If anything, I think that's what is missing, is that we need more. Because I think, actually though, you're saying all this, Katrina, and I actually think it's just a great adaptation, because I think all of these.
Oh no! Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying you get to know. Yeah. I'm. You know, there's 2 different forms. You can't have everything in a film that you have in a book, and I do think it is one of the best book adaptations ever, to be honest. And I think it is because she, like, you know, Harry Potter. I hate the film adaptations because they don't even just miss out parts of the book. They're just like, nah, see ya. We won't talk about that. Close the plot holes later. But obviously this doesn't have plot holes because anyway. But you learn a lot about his dad, which is really interesting, and how his dad is a massive misogynist. And there's a bit I've just found it here. There's a bit where his dad like is walking around the house being fucking bitch, and then it's like. Then it cuts to Nick saying, fucking bitch. There's nothing he could do but beg his wife to come back to absolve him of a crime that he hasn't committed, other than being a bit of a d-bag and cheating on his wife.
And also, obviously, there's the whole thing of him wanting to be a better father himself, and there's a clear.
Which is why
there's loads of lines with Go commenting, you know, they do the whole marriage story. Don't compare me to my father. Running back into the apartment, and that sort of thing. And you get it. You get why he can't abandon this child, even if it's with perhaps evil personified, no matter how justified. Oh, sorry, go on.
No, I was just saying, that's basically the whole book. Like, there's a whole big thing where he's like, he literally says to Margot, he's like, I can do better. I can be better. I can be better.
It's one of those things, because a lot of, obviously a lot of movie twists are the big final reveals. And it's the final turn of the card and you're done. And maybe you have 10 minutes afterwards of resolution, like with Fight Club. This twist is an hour in. And you're like, oh, wait, I've got another movie's worth of time. And it just works so well. And obviously, I've seen this, lots and lots and lots now. Obviously, I'd wish I could watch this film again, as we're talking about, and get that twist, again. But also, it doesn't affect my enjoyment at all. And as a matter of fact, it enriches those flashbacks.
Because if anything, you're excited. You're excited. You're excited for the cool girl monologue.
Well, you're excited for my next 10-minute stretch. Maybe almost definitively the best 10 minutes of the film. I'm so much happier now that I'm dead into that incredible monologue, preparing the murder.
From like the switch and the next 10-minute stretch, basically, is like probably my favourite.
Up until the hammer in the eye, which is rough. She's got commitment, I'll give her that. The Desi TV interview, watching the TV interview, I love she's eating the ice cream. She's so invested. And Desi can see how clearly she's being sucked back in. And he nonchalantly and aggressively, passive-aggressively pulls Pinot. I don't know what the stage direction would have said, but I presume it was passive-aggressively pulls Pinot Grigio. And he turns it off with his fancy iPad, and he's just like, no, we're here.
It's now, like, he literally in the book he's like, indulge me. Because I would say I've read the book more than I've watched the film.
Yeah. Is that their first time sex? Or has she done some stuff with him beforehand?
I think they have done, because they look
pretty cozy when she.
They were. I think they did have sex like as soon as they got like to his.
Oh right.
House. But I don't know. I can't remember. It's been a while.
And when he comes down for breakfast and she's got a slip on and she's changed her hair and she's.
He literally when they first meet up and he's like, oh. Not attracted to this at all. He literally like buys her stuff and he won't like buy her like fattening foods and he wants
the minute you start looking more like yourself, the minute you're gonna feel better.
Because in the book, I guess you do see more that like she's like modeled after his mother.
Yeah.
Who's also like a tall, blonde, well kept, thin woman.
And also I presume in the book you can sort of close your eyes and imagine her putting on a few more pounds, maybe. And obviously that's a bit. I mean, more power to Rosamond Pike.
She's supposed to be a lot rounder in the face. And
yeah, I mean,
for the first time ever, she could just do what she wanted.
I mean, Rosamond was, putting on 15 pounds and then working out with a personal trainer to go back and forth in the shooting schedule. So she's very well. But but I also think she does manage to look quite different. It's not completely unbelievable that she can get away on the trailer park with people not recognizing her. It's not absurd. It's quite believable. My next nomination is Coming Home, and the sort of Gone with the Wind, drop in the arms. You fucking bitch. bitch, and the shower, where we get the arguably one of the most talked about parts of the film is Ben Affleck's side penis.
I honestly don't think I noticed it enough.
No, I
and when you were talking about it the other day, I was just like, I don't remember this.
It's up there with Michael Douglas's butt in Basic Instinct when he's walking away from the camera, and he's like, and he's got a really low-hanging small butt. Oh, I thought you'd have more to say about Michael Douglas's butt. I guess that was a joke. Not really. I could have gone for 10 minutes.
No, I love the shower bit and how.
Oh yeah.
He thinks he's got this kind of upper hand, and then it's like, no, you don't.
Yeah,
I think
shower scene is one of my favorite single minutes.
Yeah, the bit she just like who I kind of understand not understand her reasonings, but the whole and why he stays who else is gonna love him that much?
I mean,
obviously it's not love. It's not love, and it's not real love, and it's really toxic and terrible.
Yeah.
She literally tried to get, and she was fully going to kill herself. She was fully going to.
I don't know.
No, in the book, she was fully going to.
No, I know, and she's going to say it in the film. She's got the lovely, one of my specific favorite parts. She's got the poster that says "Kill myself?" Question mark.
No, it's she has a whole plan about where she's going to dump her body.
Oh no, I believe that she's got a plan, but I just think Amy.
I think she's too much of a narcissist to kill herself.
I don't think she's ever killing herself.
I mean, the fact that she put it on one post-it note every month kind of suggests that it was she would question it on that day. But would she actually do it? She'd see what the situation was, whether she could last another month.
Yeah, and really,
it was a backup plan if all else failed.
And really, when she went to Desi, and she was like, she was never gonna stay there.
No.
This is not the kind of woman who would be happy. Oh, he is a creep, regardless of I don't think he deserved to get murdered. He's such a creep. He is, and he's never supposed to be anything but a creep. She was never going to stay there.
No. How is in our generational humor of oh yeah, I'm gonna kill myself or whatever? How has that not become a meme of me next month, and it's the post-it note of it?
Oh, I'm sure it has been. I'm sure it has.
I've never seen it. I want that meme. Make me memes, everybody.
Okay, I will.
Thomas Whitley's specific favorite parts of the film. I love Amy's pens. just a real good, simple, effective thing of showing passage of time. All the feathers gone from her biting it. It's just really great filmmaking. The counter slamming down when his dad's there. I love louder when he's doing the first press release and he's mumbling and he does the OJ on his first press release.
One I've got is Ben Affleck's awful,
incredible
smile. I think that's brilliant. And
incredible.
My weirdest specific favorite moment, I would say, is just as she's killed Desi, and she's just
the lake house murder. That is,
and she just shakes herself off, and it's oh my god, what the hell? Because you think, okay, this woman's crazy, and then she just kills him, and then she just shakes it off
and she just
nothing
stays
happened.
Covered in his blood until the end of the film.
In the book, it's it's so weird because in the book it's literally just on her stomach, but in the film it's everywhere.
It's a great image in the shower, but it is obviously unrealistic. There's no way. And also the interview. We'll get to the interview, I guess. And there's a really interesting dynamic, I think, to the interview. But just in general, no, go on, give her a wash, maybe give her a day, and then do the interview.
Just her shaking herself off after she's killed him. I don't know why, but that to me is so I think it's very rare that a film allows a woman to be calculating, cold, and evil, and yet also make her very sympathetic.
And Gillian Flynn got into a load of shit for it. She got into a load of shit for it.
You do empathise with her.
Yeah.
You're you know what? He's horrible. He's not a nice person. He's not nice to her. I'm not saying he deserves it, but like you kind of like go on.
It's one of the best things about the film is the fact that there's just very few plot holes, if any. Like you can't pick apart the reasoning of why either of them did things. Like it's just completely believable in a weird psycho way.
Halfway through, my mum said, "See, this is the thing, isn't it? You're not rooting for either of them. They're both terrible." And I was like, "Yeah, it's great, isn't it? How wonderful is it? You know, it's interesting adult characters."
She's like, I feel like a lot of the times when a woman is made a villain, she's so overly sexualized, and
it's
all
Bond,
her
you know.
villainous is like, oh, like I'm sexy, and it's Rosamond Pike. She's beautiful. But I don't like, you know, and they're often they don't have many dimensions. Their dimensions are evil and sexy. She's like, it's so intelligent. She's evil, like, but she's also like, you can see where she's coming from. She's got so many different dimensions. On like her childhood was crazy. You get a lot more. I can't remember in the film. Obviously, there's that guy who she accused of rape. But there's so many more people that she is like convinced of things. So there was a woman. I can't remember this in the film. I did rewatch the film like a month ago, but my short-term memory is terrible.
Yes.
But there's a woman called Hillary in the book who she tries to convince everyone, pretended to be her. Oh, and then she was like, oh yeah, she pushed me down the stairs. She's crazy.
Oh, I love that because it's single white female and it's basic instinct and it's clean. See, this is another thing why I love Gone Girl. I love erotic thrillers. I love Basic Instinct. I love Fatal Attraction. I just love it, and it's not just the genre itself, but it's the films in it. But this is just a great return to the, you know, just perverted, full blown, just violence, sex, interesting characters, profane. You know, it's so adult and great.
In a way. Not to talk about my university dissertation. One of the things I'm talking about in my university dissertation is how it's like the difference between film and video games and like reception towards women, blah, blah, blah. I think in a way 80s films were more progressive than some films now that tout themselves as progressive.
Yeah.
You have, you know, like Alien and things like that where all these things. I think Gone Girl is a complete return to this, like, she's evil, not because she's a woman. She just is a woman. She's evil, and she uses the fact that she's a woman in order to get her way. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's such
it's Basic Instinct. It's Sharon Stone. It's Basic Instinct. I'm going to uncross my legs, not for the audience to get hard, to be crude, not for audience titillation, because I'm controlling every minute. That the interrogation scene in Basic Instinct, Sharon Stone is just playing everybody like a goddamn piano, and it's incredible.
There aren't many things that women societally hold over men, hold like power over men, and yet Amy constantly has nearly all of the power. The only time she doesn't have the power is when she's at that resort and another woman has the power over her when she steals her money, and the other woman gets that man involved, Jeff I think his name is, gets him, but she gets him involved because she's a woman. So it's like one of the most perfect pieces of feminist literature because it's so forthcoming, and it knows women's holds power in sex. Women control that, women's bodies control. That's the only time a woman has complete power, is through sexual, you know, using their body. Amy, there's no having a male villain in this story wouldn't have worked because a woman never would have done the things that Bessie does for Amy.
No.
That was a female character and a male character who was in trouble. They'd have never have done that for her because she has all the sexual that controls him.
Well, this is the thing, and as well, and then you add in the love, the possible love, and the perversion of their romance, and you're like, yeah, I get it. Like, I get it for Desi, even though the warning signs are on the wall. If I came down and Rosamond Pike looks that beautiful and she's made me breakfast, I'm like, oh, this is wonderful. And then obviously in the final reveal of Amy and Nick's relationship, because I don't even think it's even a Tom's big question. I don't think Amy will ever harm him. Oh, long silence. Okay, Becky, I'm seeing the tinkle. Go on. She's pissing herself.
I'm processing. I don't know. I think she's crazy enough that, like, if there was a big enough, like, flick of a switch, she could.
Well,
but
Nick's
I don't think
certainly
she
not
would
cheating on her
for the
again.
long. Yeah, I think he would have to do something really crazy, but then I don't even know if she would hurt him. I think she would do similar to what she did this time. She would find a way to manipulate him and twist everything so that he feels like he has to stay in the situation. Yeah.
And then, and in the end, when they're talking at the bed, and she's like, this is what I need. You need to give me the diary. You need to say that you pushed me, and you need to say that you did all the credit cards.
To fake a convincing murder, you have to have discipline. You befriend a local idiot. Harvest the details of her humdrum life and cram her with stories about your husband's violent temper. Secretly create some money troubles, credit cards, perhaps online gambling. With the help of the unwitting, bump up your life insurance. Purchase getaway car, Craigslist, generic, cheap, pay cash. You need to package yourself so that people will truly mourn your loss. And America loves pregnant women. As if it's so hard to spread your legs. You know what's hard? Faking a pregnancy. First, drain your toilet. Invite pregnant idiot into your home and ply her with lemonade.
Ooh, terrific, sensational film.
Ultimate manipulation.
I think, like I say, she has this upper hand because women are it's so interesting because it's like, I suppose there is a way to view this film and the book in such a, like, it's kind of sexist in that, like, oh, women are, but it's not, because it's so truthful. She holds the power because of sex. Well, because of sex, and because she is viewed as innocent because she's a woman. Not only just a woman, a white, blonde, rich woman. She those two things, you know, those things hold her, like, there is no way he was, if she'd have just wanted to, he'd have gone down for murder. He would have done. You know, even if they'd have never found a body, he would have still gone into prison. She'd have just decided that she wanted to leave him, but she never could have, because it was all about her obsession with him. She was always going to end up back with him, because in a way, that's the only thing he has, is that she has that obsession. So in a way, while she is the victor, is he not as well?
In a way. I mean, well, that's why she gets brought down by the trailer park people, because, you know, they're still white, but they you know, they clearly have nothing, and she has clearly never worked a day in her life. And you know, I mean, you know, obviously she works at the magazine, but she's, you know, it's common people. You know, if you rang your dad, he could stop it all. You know, there's no issues for Amy in life. And then suddenly she thinks that she can, I'm going to go to the trailer park and I'm going to hide away and I've got my money. And it's like, oh, these people are nice. And she gets brought down. We've got some stuff to talk. Remaining Tom's Wheeler's specific favourite parts of the film. One of my favourite Margot lines. We've not really talked about Margot much, but she was my student. I thought, right, it's hate cliches. The glass smash which sort of, for me, obviously, the end of the first hour and the first act is that cut to black. But for me, that's the cut to black. It's that smash. I'm not going to talk to you again without a lawyer. And you're like, okay, now we're into another. It keeps turning. It's a pretty good film. I love spitting in the dew. I love talking about Andy's bank statement, how it would go back to their parents, and Margot goes, ooh. A little thing I picked up this time, when they're playing mini golf, and Amy goes, is nobody going to keep the score? It's just perfectly Amy.
It's such an Amy. Everything is about like all these people. She accuses quite a few people of like things that all end up being false. But it's all because she wants to win. She has this in it because even though she could never win. So interesting. There's so many different layers to this character that it's like, where does it all begin? So I would say the start of it is the fact that she'd never live up to these 7 debts. So obviously her parents had 7 miscarriages before her. She'll never live up to those 7 babies. That's one thing she talks about, is how she'll never ever live up to these. They were all called Hope. She'll never ever live up to these 7 dead babies. Then they start writing these books, and she'll never ever live up to Amazing Amy. She needs to find other ways to win. Can't win over her parents because they've got these 7 dead babies that are perfect angel babies because they never got to be real people. So they'll always be on a higher pedestal to her. Amazing Amy will always be on a higher pedestal to her because that's what got her the money, even though they're based off of her, not her. So she needs to find other ways to win.
And she can't let Nick win.
And that
as
is
soon
why,
as she thinks that like he's cheating and he could essentially win over her. Like
exactly. That is why him cheating is such a that's why it really cuts deep and really gets her, because she's not winning for once. She is losing. She's losing Nick as well, which is her
young,
prize.
Prettier, bouncier, cool girl. You dragged me down to the navel of this great country.
Can we also talk about the fact that like I've always said in my whole life that like men have like a creepy to nice scale and women have like a psycho to nice scale, and like this just shows to a T the like creepy guys and the psycho women aspect.
It's really interesting theory that what are you sharing?
I was just getting it ready. Keep going.
Oh, there's a really interesting theory that Barney Stinson in How I Met Your Mother talks about, which is the hotter a woman is, the crazier she is. And Rosamond Pike is one of those beautiful women.
This is what I mean. It's psycho. I use psycho. And that's what I mean. Is I think that's where I've got it from. Is like women have like a hot psycho scale, and men have like a creepy hot scale. So like you can get away with a hot guy if well, you can get away with a guy being a bit creepy if he's hot. But there's like the levels, and it's the same with like psycho women.
And I think
it'll never change.
It'll never change. I think the wonderful thing about this film is as well, it's such a pure example of female rage. Like she's mad. She's not even just sad or upset. She is absolutely furious. So I mean, obviously so furious that she wants to frame him for murder, but she has no other outlet. So she's like, may as well, try and get him, like not even killed or anything, like literally try and get him like imprisoned for something he will always know he never did. Yet everything points to he did. Even his sister starts to believe. His twin sister, who is literally like his soulmate, is like, they are as close as can be. Even she begins to suspect that he may have killed Amy.
And she can't give in to that primal anger because she's far too intelligent for that. And she knows that there is far too much risk involved with her killing him, even though that might be the ultimate victory. She knows that, no, there's too much risk there. I could maybe get away with this. Oscar travesty. I mean, I sort of touched upon it. There's only one nomination the film gets, which is for Rosamond for Best Actress. She loses to Julianne Moore for Still Alice. A fine performance. I mean, well, no, a great performance, and obviously it was helped along by the. Film. And it was obviously helped along by the whole consolation prize factor. It was Julianne's time. But what are we doing here? What are we actually doing if Rosamond Pike can't win for Gone Girl?
That was an interesting year for films in general, though. That's an amazing. I disagree with the theory of everything. I didn't like that film.
I
didn't like Eddie Redmayne in that film.
He's bad.
I think that if I was going to pick anyone from that list to win, it would have been Michael Keaton. And I actually did like Benedict Cumberbatch in The Imitation Game. I think that he made him very sympathetic as Alan Turing. I mean, he's a sympathetic person anyway in general in history, but yeah,
you can feel pretty bad for.
But I think Benedict Cumberbatch really, and I'm not a Benedict Cumberbatch fan, but I think he was really great in that film. Just Eddie Redmayne won. I disagree.
Well, I mean, I love Richard Linklater, but Boyhood was an incredible experiment, a very boring film. And there was the whole thing about Boyhood, Boyhood winning. I'm so glad that Birdman won.
Glad Birdman won.
Birdman's excellent. Adore Birdman. Keaton.
Didn't like American Sniper.
No, American Sniper was a bad movie.
There's some really good films there, though, like Grand Budapest Hotel.
Yeah, Budapest.
Imitation Game, Theory of Everything, Whiplash.
Whiplash is excellent.
Whiplash, such a good year.
For my I remember my top 5. I remember this. This was like when I was really getting into the film buff thing, and I was like, my top 5 this year is Birdman, Gone Girl, Grand Budapest Hotel, Whiplash, and I'm forgetting my 5th. But it was just a great year. It was just a great year. And so, and what are we doing? Why the hell, Bradley Cooper, terrific. I don't know how he lost to bloody, I'm going to sing some songs right now. Bloody Rami Malek. He should have won for Star is Born, but that's it.
Yeah. Oh, for definite. I think he's great, but I just didn't like American Sniper.
No, American Sniper was dreadful. That's what I'm saying.
And also, I didn't like what it was trying to say either.
Yeah. Clint Eastwood, famous, wonderful director, famous, terrible biographer, terrible, just putting in entire things that aren't true and not been disputed. Things that have been disputed and proven to not be true. Gillian Flynn for Best Adapted Screenplay.
American Sniper really made me laugh because it's like, yes, the horrors that the white Americans faced when they went to fight a war in this bloody country. That's who we need a film about, is the people who go and create the
privileged white men.
No, but also PTSD.
Not the little kids being bombed.
Yeah, but PTSD is pretty terrible. I think if we're talking about worthy of a film.
No, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying I always think that's a very interesting thing to go for, is like, God, he had it hard. And it's like, yeah, what about all them people that have been bombed in their own homes? Yeah, but he saw it.
Yeah, but what's the movie there? What's the movie there? They're just having a nice meal. Best single. Oh God. Best single minute. I kicked us off with nominations. Becky, you keep flirting around with best single minutes. Let's hear your nominations.
My key two are the Lake House Murder. And the shower scene right at the end.
Yeah, the shower scene.
Just because it all kind of comes together and you're like, this is so disturbing and there's so much manipulation involved.
I think The Murder of Desi is one of Fincher's finest set pieces of all time. Even not even the and the fade to black and the fade back up, which is incredible. I love the initial. You can call it it's obviously a seduction, and the graphic nature of it. And she's being so quick with him, and she's like, no, just have sex with me, please. And she's like, and he's like,
and I love the cut,
slower.
how like it cuts from looking at him whilst it's there, and then it's like the camera almost goes with the arm and like suddenly switches to the side once she's done it, and that
I love that in the murder scene she ends up on top. Like it's that is such a like I don't know, it's like yeah, she always will. It's just that she physically is on top and metaphorically is on top.
She's a nice woman though. She let him finish. No, I love the shot of her going to grab it under the pillow. Just it's a bit Wes Anderson-y, actually. Just so perfect, and that the sound isn't really there, and then just and flying the box cutter to the floor. Just terrific. Obviously.
By the way she clutches it as well. I always remember her just like clutching it to her.
And her eyes go
chest,
wide.
Like it's almost like it's not even that, but is it like you could? I think there's multiple ways you can interpret just that bit. Is it disgust for him, but is it like secretly like excitement about? Like she's never killed anyone, but she has got like, I think that's where it was always going to lead her, you know, like, so like, is it excitement or is it like fear? Is it nerves? I think it is excitement in a way.
Oh yeah, she's getting off herself. You know, not to be too crude, but there is a level of excitement, obviously not perhaps sexually, but there is a level of arousement that she is getting from this that is very evident, and as you say, she ends up on top, and that incredible wriggle of the hair.
It's just great. It's just covered in. She's literally straddling his body, covered in blood, and she just shakes it off.
I've got other nominations for Best Single Minute. I love meeting Tanner Bolt. You know, we're not touched about Tyler Perry yet. Just, I guess you could call him comedic relief. I mean, he has the best line of the film, legitimately the best line of the film, just don't piss her off, which made me and my mum, no matter how many times we've both seen it, laugh out loud.
You know the jelly bean scene?
Yeah.
I swear I read that was edited in.
What do you mean edited in?
The jelly beans were like edited in. I swear.
No, I was listening to the commentary.
Which scene is this?
The jelly bean when he's, you know, your moment of weakness lasts 6 months.
Yeah, when they're going over like the interview and he keeps getting something wrong, she like throws something at him.
Oh yeah.
No, I was listening to David, as I often do, and he was talking about how, because he's a goddamn take perfectionist, hundreds and hundreds of takes, and he was talking about he wanted, and how there was the perfect one when it landed in his collar, the one when it landed in his hair, and how they were bouncing off. And that's CeeLo Ward, who famously plays a murdered wife in The Fugitive. Great, love The Fugitive.
I think a bit I really like is like the ending where they're coming down the stairs. I love how they dressed her in that scene. I'm a big sucker for costume design and like how costumes represent what a character's going through. She's dressed like a young girl. She's dressed in like a black like little dress. It's like a smock dress, so it's not figure hugging, and it's got a collar, and it really is like it's supposed to make her look more innocent, and really supposed to like infantilize her and
like Amazing Amy.
Amy. And also she's fulfilling that she's a complete hypocrite as well when she talks about Andy's outfit. It's like, I had an affair with Nicholas Dunne. And then she's like, why is she dressed like a babysitter? The girl with the big come-on-me tits.
Yeah, because I'm just looking at like Amazing Amy and how Amazing Amy dresses now.
I'm looking at her on my book.
Yeah, there's one for Amazing Amy Meets Her Match where she's wearing a pinafore dress with
the lilac
a little shirt underneath. This one.
Oh, I've got lilac.
Well, there's like multiple books.
Let's swap Amy. Let's swap Amazing Amy's. Best single minutes, The Murder of Desi, and maybe
I'm trying to
the best single.
Oh yeah, sorry. And then here's how Amy's dressed in the stairs scene.
She's basically wearing Wednesday Addams.
Yeah, but like.
Which is kind of true.
It's very much like a childish way of dressing. So it's really supposed to like make people more sympathetic towards her because she looks younger.
And it's not even just Amy anymore. And it's not even just Amy anymore. It's Nick as well. Nick's got that cardigan on, and he's not this frat boy who can fuck a teenager anymore. He's an old man, and he's going to have his kid. And Amy's basically, sterilized him. She's like, "No, I've got my kid now." Do you think they have sex?
trying to remember. I think
Maybe?
in the book. In the book, it does. Obviously, in the film, you see him stroking her hair. Hello. Why have we not spoken about the opening shot and the ending shot?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's flawless
this
stuff.
is one of my favourite lines, though. When I think of my wife, I always think of the back of her head. I picture cracking her lovely skull and spooling her brain, trying to get mine.
And it is in a way the thing that we all think about. I can, like there's something very therapeutic. No, not about cracking
Imagining
a skull
smashing someone's head.
No, but it's
I think you mean like knowing.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's taking it to the most violent extreme of that thing that we love to do. Is we've got our partner's head and we're soothing them. I mean, my ex really liked the hair thing, so Gone Girl was a real. Oh no, maybe she's Amy. No, she wasn't. But it's that violent extreme of like, I want to know what's going on in there. Like, I want to, and then it's like, how are you going to find out what's going on in there? I'm going to crack your skull open and have a fiddle around.
I think I've just done too much biomed to have seen inside a head and inside a brain, so.
Oh, go on, sorry.
This is a line I really like from the book. Yes, I'm finally a match for Amy. The other morning I woke up next to her and I studied the back of her skull. I tried to read her thoughts. For once I didn't feel like I was staring into the sun. I'm rising to my wife's level of madness because I can feel her changing me again. I was a callow boy and then a man, a good and bad. Now at last I'm the hero. I'm the one to root for in the never-ending war story of our marriage. The story I can live with. Hell, at this point I can't imagine my story without Amy. She is my forever antagonist. We are one long, frightening climax.
Oh, yeah. They have sex.
Then,
in the book.
Oh, they are definitely having sex.
I feel like
think
she
give
would
it a couple of
manipulate him
months.
into it.
I don't even think, let's be honest,
then
I don't think he'll need much manipulation. I think give it a couple of months and he's into it.
Yeah, then there's bits like this where, so this is after she's pregnant. Nick has spent all his free time these past months slathering my belly with cocoa butter and running out for pickles and rubbing my feet and all the things good fathers-to-be are supposed to be, doting on me. He is learning to love me unconditionally under all my conditions. I think we are finally on our way to happiness. I finally figured it out. We are on the eve of becoming the world's best, brightest nuclear family. We just need to sustain it. Nick doesn't have it down perfect. This morning he was stroking my hair and asking what else he could do for me, and I said, my gosh, Nick, why are you so wonderful to me? He was supposed to say, you deserve it, I love you. But he said, because I feel sorry for you. Why? Because every morning you have to wake up and be you. I really, truly wish he hadn't said that. I keep thinking about it. I can't stop. I don't have anything else to add. I just wanted to make sure I had the last word. I think I've earned that. And that's the end of the book. So in a way, Nick does win. Kind of. It's really interesting. I think the book is a lot more nuanced in that I think in the film you come out knowing that she's won, whereas in the book it's like, especially that line where he's like, I feel sorry for you, and she's like, I can't stop thinking about that he said that. I think that it's like very much like he did win in a way because she came back for him because he made himself look desirable and she dropped everything.
But I mean, perhaps the most telling moment is when he just gives up in the middle of the Fox News Ellen Abbott interview, and she's like, and Ellen comes over and hugs Amy, and Nick head just lowers, and he looks so sad, and he doesn't even care he's on TV. My other nomination for best single minute, Margot crying.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Margot's brilliant in this film.
Margot's great. Carrie Coon. I love Carrie Coon. Always have. And I mean, she's got one of my major changes in the film, but it's not anything to do with her. She's incredible in this. And that scene of her crying. Wow. Best line. I swear you two are the most fucked up people I've ever known, and I specialize in fucked up. Everybody knows complicated is a code word for bitch. I've killed for you. Who else can say that?
Yeah, that's mine.
Whoever took her is bound to bring her back. Boo-hoo, I got laid off. Guess I'll fuck a teenager. And then we'll leave the cool girl monologue as our piece de resistance. Becky, any single lines?
I liked when they said, "Well, we have our first clue," and got out and then it like pans down to clue 1. But I also like for Valentine's Day, I thought I'd buy a gun.
Ooh, yeah, good one. Katrina?
You already said mine.
Oh.
I'd kill for you. I just like that because
great.
it is like, I think they're perfect for each other in a way. I really do.
That's a real good best single minute, is that argument, and that it's it's a hard thing to tackle. I'm not, but the headbang and the cunt, and it's just like, because also as much as we're rooting for Amy, also she's a fucking piece of work, and you're like,
I like
yeah.
it because I think in a way she is happier in the end because someone finally knows her.
Well, it's that
no one's ever known her before. Nick never knew her before, but now he does know her,
and he knows.
And that's why she's like, "I've killed for you. I've killed." Like she can say that so freely because, like, he can't leave. She's finally got someone who can't leave, never will leave, but knows her for exactly who she is. So interesting. So interesting.
It is. What's our favourite line from the Cool Girl monologue?
Well, you've clearly got one, so you go first.
I'm a big fan of, I wax stripped my pussy raw, I drank canned beer watching Adam Sandler movies, I ate cold pizza and remained a size 2. I blew him semi-regularly. I lived in the moment. I was fucking game. I can't say I didn't enjoy some of it. Specifically, I blew him semi-regularly. Sorry. One of maybe my other favourite part of the film is when they're having sex from behind in front of the mirror. And he goes, "Yeah, we should go to we should go to Outback Steakhouse tonight." And she's like, "Yeah, that'd be nice." And I was listening to the commentary, and David Fincher's direction was, "I want you to react as if like you're genuinely, that sounds great. There's no spite, there's no aiminess about it. You're like, okay, that's a really good idea." And yeah, maybe Outback Steakhouse is nice. What's next on this little show we do?
No, I want to say my favorite bit.
Oh, have you got it? Oh, have you got it up? I didn't know you'd got it.
Yeah, I just got it up. Cool girls never get angry. They only smile in a chagrin loving manner and let their men do whatever they want. Go ahead and shit on me. I don't mind. I'm the cool girl. Because it's like, I think especially when you're younger, and I know I definitely did this. My first more serious boyfriend when I was 17. When we broke up, he was like, I remember it. Well, not even when we broke up, but I remember him saying, I thought you'd be into this. I was like, why? And he was like, I don't know. I just assumed maybe I don't know you very well. And I was like, it's so interesting because he had this whole assumption over who I was based on the things that I'd said to impress him. And it was like, I remember in that moment thinking, oh God, that's not very me, but he thinks it is. And so it's something that I definitely now I'm like, I don't want anyone I ever meet to think I am something I'm not. So I'm never going to pretend to like stuff I don't like. If I like something, I like it.
So next time you're going to tell them straight away that you would kill for them and that you're actually an Amy Dunne type. And
Definitely not. But I'm never going to pretend that something that someone says, like my first boyfriend, he used to say stuff that now I'm like, oh God, that's why, offensive things like the edgy humor in 2017. That back then I was like, oh, I don't like that, but I'll let him get away with it and I won't say anything and I'll pretend that I'm cool with it because I'm a cool girl. But now I'd just be like, what the, I'd literally call them out on it and I'd be a lot more assertive.
But it's also that you change as a person, because I think particularly if you're in a long-term relationship, then you change a lot between the start and the end of the relationship, and they still think you're the person you were at the beginning.
Yeah.
And so you kind of have to act like that. And then that's why a lot of people who come out of long-term relationships are like, wow, I'm free to be me finally, because I've been acting like 3 years ago me for so long. And it's like a continuous thing, particularly when you're young.
Yeah. Becky said my point, she's clearly read my therapy notes. Let's move on to what's the change. I've got some pernickety things. You've got a world-class vagina. You wouldn't say that in front of reporters. I would never talk about my significant other's vagina. in front of, even if it's complimentary. The library, nobody's hearing them in that library because, and also, I mean, it looks very fun. I'll just say that. But and also,
I mean,
it's not like they're being covert. They're going at it pretty on a big table. It's not like in some random corner. And then anyway, I don't.
Yeah,
need to
but then
describe
again, is
positions
that
it
supposed to
could
be realistic? Is it supposed to be realistic?
Yeah.
Or is it supposed to be this hyper?
Diary.
Yeah, the diary where it's like, cool girl, I'll have sex on the library.
Did he even go down on her?
Oh, come on, Nick did never. Nick would never.
No, I think yes, because it's the first.
I think he did at the beginning.
It's the first time, yeah, and I think he's gonna win her over. Also, so there's the sexy snow handprints on the walls. So they've clearly been doing something. Let's just say where she has to be in a certain position, and then they're going back to that. But her knickers are back on. Has she just never taken a knicker? Anyway, we don't need to dissect.
It's film, isn't it? Women's vaginas aren't allowed on film.
Sorry?
Movie magic. Women's vaginas aren't allowed on film. Have you never seen the L-shaped duvet cover where the man's is like down here because his chest is out and then the women's is up here? You can't see her boobs.
Yes. I do laugh at that.
Which is so... I just think it's very funny that... I'm not going to get into the whole debate of sexualized breasts. We won't go there.
Well, maybe there's a comment in that here, because obviously we don't get anything of Rosamond's, but we get Ben Affleck's shaft.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
Yeah. I don't know if in the script Gillian Flynn put, we see his whole side cock.
Maybe
it's hard to tell if it was just like almost an accident, but it was...
Oh no, it wasn't an accident. It's a massive close-up.
I personally don't think... I think Nick will have gone down once or twice and he'd be like, it's really not... Sorry, I'm just really not into it. Like, personally, for me, I don't think... But you can carry on going down with me. Just personally, I'm not into that. I think Nick... That's the kind of guy Nick is. He would be like, yeah, I'm cool. Nick, in a way, is lying when they first meet. He's cooler than he actually is.
I guess it's a larger conversation, but maybe I'm just naive, but I think that's the When I Met Sally orgasm conversation of our day. Because ever since, I mean, I get, people, they obviously still fake orgasms, but I don't think that's a conversation anymore. I don't think that's a big reveal. I think most men know that most women fake orgasms, and that actually makes men more self-conscious now. But I think that's the thing, is that, the reciprocate, what do they call it, Katrina? What's it called? The oral sex differential.
What?
There's a
cunnilingus.
No, I know what it's called. What's that thing where the man goes? That's one of my favorite Robin Williams, is when he's talking about.
What are you talking about?
Just how it's uneven.
Oh, there's a disparity between them.
Yeah. And that's one of my favourite Robin Williams, when he's talking about how beautiful a woman looks, and you can look down and she's got her flowing hair, and then women look down and it's a man and he's going, is it good? Oh, we love you, Robin. Other changes. People would notice her. I know what I said about her dyeing her hair and putting on a little bit.
You'd be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised. I think it's movie bullshit. It's like in Hannibal.
If it was that big, then yeah, it would be a struggle. It's a bit like if, I can't think of a really famous case of...
I can, and it's really depressing to bring up.
Oh.
Do
we want to know?
Maddie. No, but...
Oh, I thought of her, but I thought, it's been so long. If it had been, a year afterwards, that's the kind of case where, it would be quite hard to hide.
Fucking bitch.
also child versus adult. I feel like adult is harder to hide.
Yeah, but there was the whole idea that like, yeah, you know, someone doesn't look the same as like on TV. And,
yes, true. And obviously,
and in
it's
photos as they do in
yeah.
real life. There's simple things that can. I wish they'd gone a bit more dramatic with the changes in the film, but also.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Me and Will talked about it on the Hannibal episode. Is that, you know, Anthony Hopkins is walking around Florence in Rome, and he's just having the time of his life, and he's drinking espressos.
And no one's like,
and nobody, he doesn't look any different. But obviously, in the book, it describes how he cut off his 6th finger and he's had full plastic surgery. But you can't do that in a Hannibal movie because you need Hopkins.
Also at the same time, think about a Gok Wan makeover show. Think about the woman.
Think of Gok Wan as Nick Dunne.
No. Think of Gok Wan makeover show or any makeover show. Think about how the woman looks in the beginning and think about how she looks at the end. Haircut, new glasses, new clothes. She's lost a bit of weight. She's gained a lot of confidence. She's always going to look different. You could easily do that the opposite way. You cut your hair badly, you dye it a more dull, you know, like a dull colour or whatever. You put on some bad glasses, you put on some weight. I think there's a way that you could definitely argue that it would have been more believable. I just think in the book, I feel like she's a bit more dramatic with it than in the film.
And she has that flawed southern accent.
Yeah, she needs to be, you know, believable. But also she isn't believable. They do recognize, I don't know if they recognize that it's her from the TV, but they know that she's definitely not who she says she is.
Well, that's the great moment. I know you don't look like, and also you don't look like you've ever been hit. And she slams her against the wall, which is a rough moment. But
it's the whole idea that like Amy's so intelligent that it's like she fails to miss that there's two types of intelligent, really, isn't there? There's like book smart, street smart, and I think a lot of lesser educated, poorer people have to be street smart. They learn the street. They know what these beaten women look like. They know how they act. And Amy doesn't act like any of them. She doesn't act like it. She doesn't look like it. You can tell she's come from a well-to-do family that have had money. You can just tell.
The fanny pack dropping off. How is she? You know, that's the world's worst fanny pack. She jumped a little bit. Also,
I thought it was a money belt.
Yeah, but it's a fanny pack, isn't it? Anyway, wiping the snow lips off Emily Ratajkowski doesn't work because there's no. I was looking very intently. There's nothing on her lips to wipe off. So the whole thing of him
worked.
It worked. I mean, she's kissing him anyway. Just come all the way to the bar.
But here's the thing is like the bar is on the floor for men. So any kind of romantic gesture,
okay.
especially for like a college-age girl who's never had a nice guy before.
A mature guy.
Nick's a nice guy. He's a cool guy. He's I'm mature, I'm cool, I'm chilled, I'm laid back, I'm older, I'm more mature than you, I'm more experienced than
He's
you.
getting ready for the 3rd time he's ever gone down on a woman in his life.
Oh no, I don't think he would have gone down on Andy at all. I don't think he would have. Nah, she's too young. Amy was older. Amy was like 30 when they met. She had loads of prior sexual experiences. I don't think he would have done it on Andy at all. Not at all.
No, I think
it'd have probably gone. Oh, my hands are tired.
You don't need your hands. Anyway,
not for that bit. I'm just saying in general, in foreplay in general, it'd be like my hands are tired.
It did seem very much like it was the kind of relationship where it's just like, get it in, get it done, please. For
me, the relationship with we see them have sex.
Oh yeah.
It just goes straight
and that
to
was very,
sex.
like, in it.
And for me, it was very much they're not having sex. He's masturbating using her body.
I like
it's
that.
A power play.
I mean, I don't.
It's
like
a power
that.
play. Yeah, no, I know what you mean. There, it's like this. It's a power thing. He likes. He never really had the power over Amy. She's young, inexperienced. You know, he's got the upper hand.
And also a change that I noticed on the first time and has always stuck with me. I love my sister. I'm very close with my sister. I don't think in any world my sister would ever say to me, go home, fuck her brains out, slap your dick around her face and say, there's some wood, bitch.
Some siblings are weirdly close like that, but yeah, like particularly boy-girl siblings, like.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's a difference between saying, oh yeah, no, we had sex last night, and I want you to go home, fuck her brains out and shove your dick in her face.
But in a way, is Margot also not fulfilling, is Go not also fulfilling the role of cool girl, just for a different audience?
Up to her brother? Oh,
it's all, the thing is, it's all a performance, not
all female presentation.
The cool girl aspect doesn't. You're a cool girl with your friends, I'm the girl who only has male friends. Men are way easier to be friends with. Blah, blah, blah. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not cool. Cool girl isn't a sex-based thing. I think it's more of a male approval thing. So in a way, is her not being more masculine and being like, I'm cool, I'll say weird stuff like that to my brother because we're cool and we're friends and I'm cool.
We never cut back to see Nick's reaction, and I hope that there's a deleted scene somewhere where it cuts back to Nick and he goes, all right, calm down. Becky, what's the change?
I only wrote one down, and it was that there's points where the music drowns out the dialogue, and it annoyed me because you don't get that in that many movies.
I think there's a few films where who's the worst culprit for bad sound mixing? Interstellar.
Jesus Christ! And it was worse in Tenet.
Oh my god!
Well. Tenet was terrible.
Interstellar was.
I went to see Interstellar in the cinema, and you're just like,
yeah, me too. I saw it in IMAX, baby. I saw it in IMAX at the Escape in Castleford.
Oh yeah, good
Cineworld.
Good IMAX.
Brilliant IMAX.
Oh, Katrina.
I saw it.
Hopefully we're at the
Anyway,
cinema.
I know. Anyway, one day we'll see June one day.
Oh, don't
But Interstellar, the sound mixing was really bad, and I definitely understand what you mean about in this film with the sound. I think it is just there's a lack of respect for like sound design in the slap some music over it, but they listen to it on small screens, they don't necessarily.
But also I have to say that I think that the sound design and score in this movie is absolutely exceptional.
No, the score is good.
Yeah,
but the sound design relates to sound mixing and how.
No, I know. I'm on about just two elements of the film that I think are both rather excellent.
The soundtrack is great.
Who
does the soundtrack?
That's why I think it was so annoying in this film. It's like the soundtrack's so good and the dialogue's so good, and you want to hear both, but at the right levels.
It's Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, Katrina.
Of course, it's Trent Reznor.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, why did I even need to ask? He's brilliant.
Big Fincher
knows what he's
boy.
doing.
I want to be your new boy. What's the change?
There's kind of a problem in The Social Network, actually. The music is quite loud in a lot of places.
Yeah, but that's intentional. Are you talking about the club scene?
No. Like the actual soundtrack, like the actual score itself.
Hand Colours Bruises. Dun,
oh, what a song.
dun,
Let's not talk about The
dun.
Social Network. Let's not spoil everyone. Maybe I'll go down and watch that.
They've already watched it. This is after.
Oh, have they? Sorry.
What's the change, Katrina?
You
don't have to have one if you've not got one.
It's just stuff that I wish was in it from the book into like more character, like as in like you see, the woman who like takes a photo with him.
Oh yeah.
Oh. She's a far bigger role in the book. She tries to like really seduce Nick. It's really weird. And then her parents are a bigger role. Yeah,
the whole like non-consensual photo taking, and then like, no, I'm going to share it wherever I want these days.
Well, no, it's not. It's not non-consensual. That's the point, isn't it? I've got here Nick's no favour list. Let's go through this. Here are some of the real things he says in a police interrogation. She keeps herself busy. She's a voracious reader. That's my personal favourite. She's a voracious reader. The affair. Talking about a divorce with the woman. Never say that again. The smile, which we touched on, which is incredible.
Should I know my wife's blood type?
Are you sure you're
I don't know.
married?
Anyway, I don't even know my own blood type.
I don't know myself, yeah. And the selfie, which has always been my least favourite scene. No, it's not been my least favourite scene. It's the scene that I find oh, no, don't take the photo, because it's like, okay, yeah.
Every single time you watch it, you're like, don't do it, don't do it.
Nick's psyche in the book is a lot. He so doesn't want to be his dad. He really doesn't want to be his dad, who's this angry, aggressive man. He literally, almost entirely, his character is all about his dad. That's why it's a shame that his dad isn't bigger in the film as well.
Yeah.
I think it makes a lot more sense why he is the way he is, because he's so, which is why, so he's like, he'll be amiable, he'll take photos, and he'll smile, and he'll be nice to people. Really, I would definitely suggest all listeners, you two as well, I would definitely suggest reading the book. First of all, excellently written, great story. You get to learn more about the characters and their backstories, and also the psychology and the psyche behind each of the characters is very interesting, and it gets into this whole debate on parenting and how it, because both his, in the book, his mum is really she's really in on herself, and she does so much for Nick, and then his dad is this angry, abusive, misogynistic guy, and then Amy's parents are they're never really present. And it's very interesting how the two parents directly affect their children, and that's why the events of the book happen.
Becky preempted this discussion by saying, I've got lots of notes. Let's hear some of them, please, Becky.
Okay. So first of all, we kind of talked about Ben Affleck's acting and how good he is in this film, but I also feel it's not obvious, but it's quite clear that he essentially is dealing with depression throughout the whole thing, and the way he acts so emotionless, and it's not breaking down, it's not classic sort of depressive symptoms, it's just emotionless, nothing, complete numbness. And yeah, he gets it.
Well, he's fallen out of love with her. He was going to divorce her. It's it's grieving, he's putting a position where he has to, obviously, levels of emotion that never change, that never disappear. But also, he wanted to get out. So he's also coming to terms with the fact that whether his affair with Andy was ever going to come to anything, coming to terms with, I'm not going to get that chance now.
It's not even just that, but it's also about his life is not going the way he ever wanted it to. He was supposed to be this big shot journalist in New York, and then the recession happened, and his company was obsolete, and then now he's runs a bar which he doesn't care about. He's a part-time lecturer at a community college, and nothing is going how he expects it to. And then it's really interesting because Amy again gives him that passion, because in the book he starts writing a book about his side. He gets his passion back, and it's all because of Amy. They're weirdly perfect together.
That's the classic thing is about the gifts for paper, and she gave me a notebook and said, I want you to go write your book. And what's the thing that he talks about why he loves Amy? She wanted to read my book, and and she was my student. It's and he's never going to write this fucking book. Anything else, Becky?
Talked about that one. Oh, I just wanted to say it's a great example of media twisting normal people, and essentially the media storm that happens around so many different celebrities. The whole, when they go off and they're oh, is there something going on between him and his sister? Is it oh, it's this and that?
Oh yeah, they insinuate incest.
What? Yeah, and I just think it's it's so great to see on a film it perfectly encapsulated, and particularly it's almost happened more in the last 2-3 years, where celebrities have been really picked on by the media and just torn apart, and there's these brutal stories that mostly aren't true.
Yeah,
I like
not
that.
even celebrities. Not that celebrities have any
It's,
less right to privacy, but real life people caught up in these massive stories.
It's I'm hitting it academic. There's a guy called Irving Goffman who talks about something called the frame analysis, and its whole idea of how the media, if the media wants to, it can make anything seem like how it wants to. So if the media wants Nick to be the murderer, the media will make Nick the murderer, in that it will, like say things like the Black Lives Matter riots. The media, depending on what side of the political spectrum it was, can make those riots appear however they want it to.
And they meet to decide those things. Like, they full on, like, when there's a breaking story, they will have a big meeting and say, like, what is our take on this? And like, this is something I've said before, is how media, particularly like in the UK, well, particularly with like BBC News, for example, it's supposed to be completely like opinionless and just stating the facts. But every single piece of media is slightly biased, and our entire opinions and like everything we believe, and even like a lot of our opinions are based on facts, but facts that we've heard through media that have been twisted in a certain way.
So even you look at, so in the book and the film, Nick is basically accused of murder by the media, everyone thinks
specifically the sort of Megyn Kelly stand-in, which we've got as Ellen Abbott, goes, those twins are very close, and we know that the leading characteristic of a psychopath is a lack of empathy.
So it's this whole, but like, you threw me off there, Tom. Now I'm like, I can't remember what
Katrina.
I was saying.
You're talking about
media twisting opinions. All opinions are based on facts that we've been.
Oh yeah. So if someone someone reads this newspaper that says, "Oh, Nick's the murderer," but then they never read that newspaper again, and then they somehow never watch the news again, they'll just then go through life thinking that guy killed his wife. It's the same with anything. So yeah,
it's something I've thought a lot about, like politics in particular, is different countries' media present things differently, and that's why the whole of the UK thinks one way. And like, for example, a lot of people in Russia don't see Russia as the bad guy because their media doesn't portray it that way.
Well, it's
a lot
that
of our
whole
media is like Russia.
It's the whole concept of the winner writes the history books.
The winner
of
writes it all.
Of course, people in England aren't going to know about the atrocities that the English committed, in the Crusades and all of this. They're not going to know about that because England don't want them to know. But we will talk a lot about every other country's wrongdoings. We just won't mention ours.
And the Tudors. A few fun facts. Ben Affleck's weight fluctuates in the film, with him being of a fairly average build to being muscular as a result of him being cast as Batman. Ben Affleck postponed directing Live by Night, which eventually ended up being a bit of a flop, unfortunately, in order to work on this film with Fincher, stating, "He's the only director I've met who can do everybody else's job better than he could." Better than they could, not Ben Affleck. On set one day, Affleck changed the lens setting on a camera to an almost indiscernible amount, betting a camera member that Fincher would notice. Affleck lost the bet as Fincher brought up, "Why does the camera look a little dim?" And that's why.
Brilliant.
I love him.
Oh, cunt. I'm the cunt you married. The only time you liked yourself was when you were trying to be someone this cunt might like. I'm not a quitter. I'm that cunt. I've killed for you. Who else can say that? You think you'd be happy with a nice Midwestern girl? No way, baby. I'm it.
Look, you're delusional. I mean, you're insane. Why would you even want this? Yes, I loved you, and then all we did was resent each other and try to control each other and cause each other pain.
That's marriage. Now I'm getting ready
Let's talk about Reese. So Reese Witherspoon buys the rights to this book under her new production label, Pacific Standard, and she's like, "I'm going to be Amy." And then she brings David Fincher on, and David Fincher has a meeting with her, and at the end of that meeting, she's like, "No, I'm not the right person." David Fincher's incredible at convincing people, and also B, Reese Witherspoon's incredible for admitting and coming to terms that she wasn't the great role. And C, is Reese Witherspoon, is there a great, there's a great movie where Reese Witherspoon's Amy Dunne. I have no doubt about that.
Prior Big Little Lies, I'd have said, she can't do that. No way. Reese Witherspoon, you have no lie. I don't think she'd be as good. She doesn't have the same
coldness.
Rosamond, I don't know. She's a lot more like elegant. In Pride and Prejudice, she plays Jane, who is like the most beautiful woman in the whole county, and it's believable. Although Keira Knightley, I think, is a little bit too attractive in that film.
I don't know. And what book do they go and get at the library? Pride and Prejudice.
But I think Reese Witherspoon. First of all, I think she's too short. Rosamund Pike's quite a bit more imposing.
Oh yeah.
As a person.
Oh, we talked about the straddling.
Yeah, that it's very like believable, and I think she's a lot more, like you say, she's cold.
David Fincher's musical brief to Reznor and Ross was based upon a visit he paid to a spa, wherein the music meant to relax him, he perceived as creepy and made him feel uncomfortable. This gave him the idea to set the music as though it was passive and relaxing, but actually instills a sense of dread. Perfect. Incredible.
I also, this brings in my last point that I didn't mention, that the music completely changes how you view certain parts of the film, because particularly like when he realizes he has to stay because like the baby and that whole like ending bit, I just kind of switched out of the film for a second, and I was like, if you didn't have this music, you could almost make it out to be like a happy ending, and like the dialogue itself doesn't make it like creepy, manipulative, and like, oh my god, but it's like intense music, and that's what makes it completely different and leaves you with this feeling of, oh god, this is disturbing.
Yeah, that's like a very it works well because it's like such basic. I think a lot of like directors nowadays forget some of the more basic like film rules. But one of the most basic film rules is like a soundtrack to a film is everything. I swear it's like an Anthony. I don't really know where I'm going with this, but it is a very basic rule. Is that a soundtrack, like you have a kid playing with some dolls? Oh, it's nice, lovely music. Oh, what's a lovely scene.
Pavlov.
Child playing with...
No, that's the dog. That's the dog. Ignore me. Keep going.
Child playing with dolls. Creepy music. Oh, I don't want to look at that. That's horrible. No.
I remember learning about it during music GCSE, like the different things you can use in film music to change the perspective of it. And it's honestly, it's incredible.
Yeah,
like, I have so much respect for film composers.
I think Alfred Hitchcock did like a thing about how these like the soundtrack. I can't remember if it's Alfred Hitchcock who did it. He definitely did something like talking about how some of the more basic finer parts of directing that have been the same from the beginning. Like when silent films and you used to have a man playing the piano next to the films. Soundtracks, everything. Make or break.
It was one of Fincher's favourite directors, Alfred Hitchcock. For a performance, Rosamund Pike clearly rang me and said, "What great movie? What's your favourite performances about psychotic women?" Because she drew inspiration from Nicole Kidman's performance in To Die For and Sharon Stone's in Basic Instinct. Two of the best performances ever. Full stop.
So I don't know. This might be something you're going to bring up anyway. Are you going to talk about how Ben Affleck was cast?
Oh, because David Fincher, what was it? He saw him smile.
Yeah, I think, yeah. And he was like, oh my God, he's perfect. That was the most awkward, disingenuous smile I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, it's just perfect. And you know what? That's the part where I really feel for Nick. I have a terrible smile too, and I'd probably.
Yes, you do. You're not a photogenic man.
That really was far too quick and far too exuberant.
We have 3 photos of our friend group that we've been friends for 4 years, and we have 3 photos. And let me get it.
She doesn't even need to get it.
It's just going to be your smile.
The personification is the Chandler Bing episode where he can't smile. I just can't smile. I don't know what it is. Actually, I think I have a pretty... Well, it's where it comes from? Talk about Amazing Amy and parents messing you up. It's because my mother always told me I smiled like a serial killer. And so now it's always...
I would like to say that is the better of 2 photos. There is another one where he's pulling an even weirder face, which I'm going to have to show you. I'm going to have to get it up.
In the meantime, we'll do this. Rosamond Pike told film critic Peter Travers that whenever David Fincher would catch her on set about to use her cell phone, he'd take a stern face selfie and send it to her, causing her to instantly pocket the phone. Very, very much enjoy that. Okay, here's a quick rundown of here it is. Oh, that's even worse.
Oh god.
Here's an incredible one. David Fincher cast Emily Ratajkowski on recommendation from Ben Affleck, who had seen her in the Blurred Lines video.
Of course.
What a guy.
I mean, she works. I think she works.
She's great.
She's beautiful.
She's great, yeah. Why she dressed like a babysitter is one of the best lines of the film. Right, we're going to do this quickly. Here are the top actresses that were considered for the role. Katrina, you say yes, no, maybe. Becky, same deal. Reese Witherspoon.
Which role, sorry?
For Amy.
For Amy, okay.
Reese Witherspoon.
No. Maybe.
Maybe, but probably no.
Charlize Theron.
Too short.
I don't know who that is.
I think she's too alert. I don't know. She's too sexy. Rosamund Pike is this fine line between. She can appear. I think she appears very innocent in the flashback young scenes.
Yeah, Charlize Theron can't play innocent. I don't think.
Yeah, which is like something Amy needs to play.
Natalie Portman. Too young, I think.
Too short.
Yeah.
And again, sort of too pretty.
Yeah, she's very good. I watched No Strings Attached the other day. Mediocre film. She looks bloody good in it, though.
Oh, yeah. Any...
She's too cutesy, in my opinion. Yeah. She's still too...
Glimpse into Tom's...
She's very dark in... Is it her in Black Swan?
Oh, yeah, it's her in Black Swan. Yeah, but even then in Black Swan, it's like she's dark for 2 scenes near the end where she fully becomes the Black Swan. Oh, God, I love Black Swan. Becky, Katrina, do you love Black Swan?
So Mila Kunis and Natalie Portman...
It's a good scene.
It's a good film. It's a good film.
And it's more than that. I remember that being a bit. That was a classic. That was another classic Tom thing. This was like Wolf of Wall Street, where Black Swan came out, and everyone was talking about the sex scene, obviously, because we were all horny teenage boys, and they were like, "Oh yeah, it's so fit," and I was like, "Yeah," and the direction.
No, but it is a good film. It is a good film.
Rooney Mara, obviously, they've just worked on Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. No, she's Elizabeth Salander to me. I'm sorry. Olivia Wilde.
Oh.
Yeah.
I could see it, but I don't know.
Have we seen her blonde?
Yeah, I don't think she'd suit blonde. And to me, Amy has to be blonde.
Oh yeah.
Amy has to be blonde.
Yeah, she does.
It's that whole white woman.
It's the classic. It's the classic Hitchcock thing. Is that why he cast blonde women was because it was like watching blood. Blood on a blonde is like. Oh God, what is it? Blood on freshly paved snow.
It's true though. The scene where she's covered in blood, she's blonde. It's very striking.
It was maybe a massive pervert, but he knew what he was doing. And Julianne Hough. No. I'm gonna.
Wait, what's she been in? The name rings a bell. But I
Julianne
can't-
of Safe Haven. She was Sandy in Grease Live, and she was great as Sandy. Very good. You know, I don't want to talk about, you know, another glimpse into Tom's life, but a lot of boxes were ticked with Julianne Hough.
She kind of looks like
Grease Live.
Amazing Amy.
Yeah, I can see. Oh,
But I don't. Does she have the
You can
acting?
see it in
chops?
that, but yeah.
no, she doesn't have the acting chops at all. She really doesn't. She can play. Sandra, you must start anew. She can do that very
She seems she's too young as well.
Here's two for Nick Dunn. Seth Rogen.
No.
Completely changes the film. No.
Ryan Reynolds.
I could see it, but again,
I
he's
could
like
see
too much
that.
of like a comedy character, I think.
You could never be schlubby.
I'd like to see him try though.
Oh, I would
Then
too.
again, I've
Well-
always had a thing for Ryan Reynolds. So.
Yeah. Well, here's the big one. So this was like the serious consideration, but it was the final season of Mad Men, and so he couldn't do it. John Hamm.
On Ham.
Now, is this?
No.
I have a framed picture of John Hamm next to my computer.
No. Here's why, in my opinion, and then maybe Becky can give her opinions if she thinks yes.
I barely know who he is.
My
If we're
opinion
talking
is
about
he's-
how attractive John Hamm is, I can pitch in as well. Trust me.
John Hamm. But sorry, to any audio listeners there, I just did a sly smile.
She did a
and
sly
took my head-
smile. She did a sly smile and wriggled her hair as if she was.
It's
covered in
what
blood.
it's what the cool kids nowadays would call a Debbie Ryan smirk. Tom doesn't get that joke. but
I do.
anyway.
Debbie Ryan is Sonny with a Chance.
Yeah, no, that's Demi Lovato.
Oh, they're all no. Debbie Ryan's. Hey, Jesse.
Yeah, wait.
Oh, yes, I did it.
Let me show you. So Tom gets the. This is the face I made. I have. Any audio listeners, I did the Debbie Ryan smile. He's a very attractive man. However, he's too cool. I don't buy him as a schlubby guy.
Yeah, but you've never seen Mad Men. Like when Don Draper hits rock bottom. I mean, he's still Don Draper and he's still cool, but he's like fucked up and.
But is he awkward? Nick is awkward.
Yeah.
He's very like.
Yeah.
Maybe then.
Fully.
Personally, I think no. I just think the two main actors are perfectly cast.
Oh yeah, no, I completely agree. I guess my.
I mean,
love for-
I don't know him. I've only seen pictures. As
Have
I'm
you seen
looking
Bridesmaids?
right now. Yes.
He's come here, fuck buddy.
Oh, here.
Why is that cop talking weird?
See, my impression just looking at photos and also him in that film is he's too suave. He's too like smooth.
His voice is too nice.
Ben Affleck has never been smooth.
Yeah, this is the thing. He's awkward. He's such a like.
He's perfectly cast. Rosamond Pike used a Dora the Explorer doll to practice her sex scene with Neil Patrick Harris. Gillian Flynn was originally going to call the novel Psycho Bitch. Changed her mind.
Yeah, I don't think it'd have.
Didn't really
I think the thing about Gone
roll
Girl
off the
is
tongue.
that Gone Girl, you can, if you first just straight up read it, you've never seen it before, you spend the first half of the film thinking, oh my god, he killed her. He
Yeah.
killed her. He did it.
That
if
was
the film
Fincher's
is called
Psycho Bitch.
Psycho Bitch, I didn't know that she's going to do something psycho eventually.
That was Fincher's big agreement. It was like, you're not ruining my movie with marketing if we're signing on every trailer, every poster is from the first hour. You are not showing a single frame from the second hour and a half. And A, it shows the power of Fincher, and B, just how incredible he is. Anyway, a new segment for you both, I believe. Tagline rundown. Was Nick Dunne lying? Who are you married to? And you don't know what you've got till it's, and then ... and then the title, Gone Girl. Of those, which do you think's the best?
I don't know.
I like who are you
them
married to?
again.
Who are you married to? And what's the worst tagline that we could make for this film?
Oh, where
She's
did Amy
gone,
go?
comma,
Where did
girl.
she go? Where's she going? Did he do it?
Amazing Amy strikes again.
Yeah. Tattletale. Did I say that I have a book? Tom's big question. This is going to be our longest episode, and I don't care because we're having a great time. Tom's big question. We talked about Reese. Just a really quick one. Does welcome to Fashion Corner, everybody. Does Rosamond Pike look better with short hair or long hair?
Short.
The short looks great.
Yeah.
If she
I think
hates,
it looks a lot more imposing.
Yeah. If she hates Amazing Amy so much, why does she have a shrine to her in her office with all the copies and all the big printed?
This whole thing, love, hate, you know, she's obsessed with what she hates.
Would you fuck Andy on? I mean, yes, but on the sofa, your sister's next door. I mean, come on.
Yeah, this made me feel really uncomfortable. Like,
it doesn't matter how quiet
you know,
you are. let's
risk
be
is
honest.
all, you know, outside, fine, but right next to your sister is just the line.
And also, why does he need to go to the woodshed? He's got the little brown house. Why does he also need to go to the woodshed? I guess it's been going for a while. I guess they want it to be different. But also, why?
Yeah.
And the casino cameras, somebody's definitely seeing her. I guess that's more of a change. And maybe the best...
But then again, I've seen a lot of some people say like, oh, but surely the police would see that there's plot holes and like blah, 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 and how... Yeah, the point is that they don't care. They solved it. The American police are notorious. English police as well. You see all these serial killers. Do you know how many times like Ted Bundy was nearly caught by the police, or Jeffrey Dahmer was nearly caught by the police, and then the police like let him off? It's so common. They're notoriously bad. They don't care. If they've solved it, they've solved it.
But also, I think there's a really interesting element that I think could only come from a female writer, because I think if a male writer brought this element into it, I think he'd actually get slated. In that Amy's also taking advantage of the Me Too, although this is proto Me Too, but she's also taking advantage of changing attitudes towards interrogations around acts of sexual violence, and how there was a big sensitivity thing in the early 2010s about, you know, being more sensitive because of all these, you know, women that had been through the mill with these, you know, brutal interrogations immediately after, and it just, you know, obviously reaps nothing. And it's really intriguing to have her also take advantage of that with Rhonda just pointing out the little things. Obviously, there's the great bit where Nick goes, how did she get the box cutter? She was always tied up. And then she goes, can we get back to the part where I was tied down for weeks being sodomized and brutalized?
Yeah, I think okay, something quite feminist is that knowing that women can is not shying away from that there are certain parts of a patriarchal society that women can benefit from. Whether that's good or bad, it is a thing that women can benefit. You know, like divorce hearings, child custody hearings, and Amy knows this. Then going to a novel and disregard, or a novel or a film and disregard that there are ways that you can benefit from a system that is actually negatively impacting you. You know, it would be worse if Gillian Flynn had just completely ignored that. Do you know what I mean? It's very self-aware. It's very knowing that you can benefit from a system that is oppressing you.
Indeed. That's it for Tom's Big Questions. It's a bumper episode, but I dare say we've had a swell time.
I love talking about it.
It's an incredible film. This recent watch.
Angry feminism.
Welcome to Feminist Corner. Feminist Corner would be pretty rough on what's a bad feminist movie? What's like the, I don't know. There's another 10 minutes that this episode doesn't need.
Yeah.
But I've had a great time. Becky, any final thoughts on Gone Girl? This conversation as well has really boosted this. This is really high on the Fincher scales now for me. How is it for you?
That it's like, it genuinely left me that evening I watched it feeling really like on edge, not because I was scared or anything, but like just disturbed to my core. And also that this is like, there's so many 18 films out there that are just not really 18s and they're a bit kind of weak, but this is like the most 18 film out there.
And it's
like
great.
You would not want children watching this.
Sex. You wouldn't want
It's
children
just great.
watching this, but I watched it at 14 and my sister watched it at 12.
Yeah, I was like 14 as well.
Oh.
It was fucked up. But I'm not a fucked up kid. I just love.
I was
good
already
movies.
like 16 when it came out, so.
Katrina, I don't think you'll ever have final thoughts on this film. It's clearly a tool.
My final thought is read the book. If you want more stories like this, I would highly recommend HBO's Sharp Objects starring Amy Adams and Trisha Clarkson. I just googled it because that is also an incredible. That's a TV show, but if you want more from the characters from Gone Girl, I would definitely suggest reading the book because you definitely get more of an insight into their characters and why they are the way they are. My final thoughts.
It's a great film. Wait a minute. I haven't even talked about maybe the best part of the film. The best line, full stop ever. I love tests. That's it, really.
End of recording.
End of recording.